Oi, oi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BBC Spews. Huzzah! What's the date? It's the 21st of February. Nice one. Oh, look at this. We're having trouble streaming to Rumble. Trouble streaming to Rumble. Is it possible your server or stream key is invalid? God damn it. Got it to work once. Now it's gone to rat shit again. Anyway, who cares? How's everyone doing? First things first, let's have a laugh at this fucking creature, shall we? 17. Look at the clip. 17 Clem, maybe. 17 Clem. Look at the clip of this creature. Let's have a laugh, are we? Show me. Come on then, play your fucking thing. Guess it doesn't want to. All right, fuck you then. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? It's not having it. That's because I've already watched it. It's got confused. Oh, well. President Biden, what a wanker. White people denying that they're racist is literal violence. Why is everything violence to these fucking people? Everything is violence other than actual violence. Don't get that. That's confusing, isn't it? Who's in the chat anyway? I didn't say hello. Mark McCoy at the North, Jay Wilson, Derek Thompson, Julie Keys, Richard Aiton, fucking hell, 200 of you. I can't do. You're all not getting a name drop. Sorry. Except David Boy the Codhead, because, you know, he's a Codhead and he's always in. Blue Van Man, Two Tone, Scout Sorby, everyone. Ragnar's in. Now then, right. Yeah, this is good, isn't it? White people denying their race. This is literal violence. So if you do something as milquetoasters deny that you're a racist, if someone levels a baseless accusation at you and you deny it, you've committed a violent crime. Okay, let's have a look. I'm sure she's a fucking idiot, so let's watch it.
Hey, white ladies, denying racism in your own self.
God damn it. There must be. See, as soon as you try and leave, they pull you back in. Ever since I went and did a stream on Rumble, now everything's gone tits up. Why is my audio not working? Let me have a listen. Oh, there we go. That's why. It's set differently on my desktop as it is in StreamYard. My desktop's set to Arctis 7, which is my wireless headphones. Because despite the claims that some of you fuckers have made, I'm not a Luddite, a total Luddite, and I have got some wireless headphones, but I don't like them. I don't like them as much as earbuds. They're extremely irritating. And they proper squeeze my head and make my ears warm. So I like to wear earbuds. I'm sure, surely that's not just me. Because you see everyone in the gym nowadays wearing them big, massive, daft ones. I don't think they're as comfortable as just old earbuds. They don't squeeze your head or make your ears sweaty. Right, hopefully this is going to work now. Let's have a look.
Is violence.
Violence. Right, okay, I heard that. Did you hear that? Everybody hear that? I'm not. If I was a Luddite, I wouldn't be doing anything other than communicating via fucking snail mail. The fact that I've managed to like scan a drawing and colour it in and slowly work my way through streaming, and I edit all my own YouTube videos proves that I'm not a Luddite. I'm just not as good as a fucking, 19-year-old soy boy. Right, this sounds good. Yeah, doesn't it annoy you the way they fucking drawl everything out? I hate the way they speak. It's not an American accent. It's just, for some reason, everybody who gets brainwashed by a college professor starts talking like them. You know what I mean? There's loads of Americans who speak normal, but no soy boys, apparently.
Hey, white ladies, denying racism in your own self is violence. You hurt the entire cause by denying that you ever had a racist thought. I don't think that way. I wasn't raised that way. That's not how I feel. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't have to wear a hood and you don't have to tote around a fucking Confederate flag to know that there is shit inside of your brain that you need to fix, or else you're still just perpetuating the problems of society. I get called a white savior because I can admit the shit that I do. Meanwhile, there's women running around thinking that they've never, ever, ever done anything in their life that could possibly even teeter on the edge of racism.
Fucking idiot. She's like one of those fat birds who looks like, to me anyway, maybe I've got poor taste in women. I think she's one of them fat birds who'd be really good looking if she lost like 40, I think he said 40 stone, 40 pounds. Don't you think? She's got them nice bee-stung lips I like on a lady, but might just be swollen from all the sausages. She's been eating a lot of sausages, so her lips have swelled up. Yeah. This reminds me of one of them old posters that I drew years ago. I think that was the first giveaway I did for my Silence is Violence picture. Because you must understand that the reason they do this is because it gives them an excuse to assault you, right? It's so obvious to anybody who's not a maniac. Like, the reason they call everything violence is because it then excuses them being violent, right? So if she can say, I can label any insane slur towards you, and you are forced into the position where you either agree with me or you're committing an act of violence, then that enables them to attack you, doesn't it? Because if they succeed, and they have, with rewriting the legal system and owning all the courts and the judges and the solicitors and the activist fucking lawyers and everybody else, when they get into court and they're using all the fucking legalese, they can say, this violent racist assaulted me. They committed an act of violence against me, so I was forced to mob up and kick them to fucking death. That's why they do it. It's obvious. And fortunately, it makes no sense to anybody who's not an idiot. But that's why they say it all the time. Literal violence. It's always violence. Like, no, violence is punching you in the face, and anything short of that can never and will never be violence. Strongly disagreeing with someone, shouting at someone, is not violence. Denying something is simply a denial. It can never be violence. And the irony is, the other video doing the rounds of that daft fat bird who claims to be 17 but looks fucking well rough. She looks like, if she's 17, she did a paper round in Baghdad. Where is it? It's disappeared now. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. Can I zoom in on that one a bit? There we go. Look at this fucking idiot. Right? So, denying something, if someone says, you're a bit of a cunt, and you go, I don't think I am, that's literal violence, right? But this hormonal, histrionic, shrieking fucking maniac screaming in a bloke's face, well, then surely that has to be violence as well, doesn't it? Although no, because it's only violence if you disagree with a communist. Obviously. It's why the communists, because they lie and they commit grotesque acts against people, and they control the language, and they delete histories, and they burn books, and they smash up statues, and they pull down libraries, and then they fucking make shit up as they go along with it. So if you deny something, you've committed an act of violence. But if she shrieks in an old man's face, that's not an act of violence. No, that's definitely fine. I mean, is that surely this is more violent than calmly saying, no, I don't think I am a racist, isn't it? Look at her. So there, look, that's the snarling face of hatred, but that's not violence. And I agree, I don't think that is. But surely, if that's not violence, literally screaming in someone's face, fuck you, surely quietly saying, I don't agree with you, isn't an act of violence either. Again, if it doesn't work for you, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't believe she's 17. There's no fucking way. Bobby McCowhead there. He's fucking 17. Have you seen the clip of her? Absolute cowhead. And fucking, why have they all... Tell me this, right? Are NHS gigs in? Like when I was in school, if you had NHS gigs, you got tortured. It's like if you were middle class and you could afford them dead thin rimmed ones, like get them like silver, dead thin, and you could hardly see them, then you would be classed as like acceptable geggy. But if you had NHS gigs on, you used to get fucking tortured. And it seems like they're in fashion now. I seen a picture of that James Gunn, and he had proper fucking NHS gigs on, like where the top's about an inch thick. And it looks like they'd wear your fucking skull down. How can a bloke with as much money as him not afford a decent pair of gigs? So again, maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe NHS is all the rage now. Apparently, it is actually looking at the fashion sense as well. Like when I was a kid, if you had like drain pipe trousers and fucking cardboard collars on your school uniform, you used to get tortured. That apparently is all the rage now. Everybody looks like a fucking 1970s. Everyone looks to me like with these young kids you see, like or the protesters you see, Black Lives Matter. Everybody to me looks like a 1975 poor kid who's on free school meals and get like an issued school uniform from the DHSS. Like everybody looks like a fucking weirdo. And I know that makes me sound like my dad. Because I remember when I thought I looked cool in the 90s, my dad said, look at the clip of you, you look like a fucking sex offender. But definitely, they just look shocking. Like, I don't get what... And the hair as well. Who the fuck cuts their hair? When I was a young lad, the only two acceptable haircuts you could have at school was a short back and sides or like a skinhead. If you had anything a bit weird like a mullet or curtains or a fucking anything else, certainly any of the shit you see nowadays, a ball head, and let your mum just put a cereal bowl over it and shave around it, you got tortured. But all the young people now proper look like... You know what? I bet you it is linked again. It's going to be linked to all this commie rhetoric, isn't it? Because it's going to be, there are no grand narratives. So when society says you look smart and good if you have a shave and you put a nice collared shirt on and you comb your fucking hair, well, I'll tell you what, you should do the exact opposite. That's what you should do. You should fire a coach ball through your fucking tongue. Because I defy anyone to tell me they look good on a woman. Them big daft bull rings to put through the nose. The amount of women I've seen with them, and I just think, what are you doing that for? It does not look good. I've never seen a woman who looked better from having a fucking coach ball fired through a tongue and a big daft bull ring through a nose. I've never seen a single woman it looks good on. Not one. Afros, fucking, well, to be fair, they've always been common with a certain group, haven't they? It's like blokes like me can grow an afro. even if I wanted to. If I left my hair for 12 months, I'd just look like fucking, I don't know, Frodo Baggins with a bald spot. But Stevie Orn's just got in from work. There we are. A man who keeps the world turning. A taxpayer, right? None of these fuckers do that, do they? They're too good for paying taxes, these rat bastards. Are we switching over to Rumble again? Don't know. If I can figure it out, we will, but that didn't seem to go very well, that. I'll try when we wrap up. Oh, yeah, have you seen that as well? There's a based SNP lass. Kate Forbes, right? Let's talk briefly about Kate Forbes. So I listened to an interview with Kate Forbes. Kate Forbes said, in fact, I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube. I'll have to use subtle euphemisms like I always do. Essentially, Kate Forbes, milquetoast, boring, run-of-the-mill Kate Forbes said that she believes that trans women are biologically men, which is about as controversial as saying fucking sugar puffs are better than shreddies, right? It's the least controversial thing I can think of. It's like saying, I like your border terrier. It's the most dull, boring thing. If you went back 20 years and told your dad or your granny that we'd be living in an age where a political leader is getting torpedoed completely because she said, and I quote, to me, a trans man is a trans woman is a biological man, they'd think you were a fucking maniac. They'd think you were completely off your tits. They'd think you had a cheese box full of dog shit. But this is where we are. And I just don't understand how normies can't see it. Because I keep saying this, right? We're never going to get anywhere because the normies don't pay attention. They just don't care. Again, if you're a long-time viewer, you know I am fucking black-pilled, miserable bastard. Because I see no way forward without the almost complete collapse of society and then widespread civil disobedience. You're only going to get on the right track if you end up with what happened in the Weimar Republic. You're going to have commies versus fascists fighting in the streets, and the commies will lose. Because it's only ever the extremists who really fucking pay attention to what's going on. Normies are just going to be watching Netflix and just do as they're told. Live in the box, eat the crickets. As long as they keep them entertained, as long as the internet doesn't shut down, they don't care. So things need to get 10 times worse before they get any better, because the normies don't pay attention. It's ludicrous position we're in, but we can't do fuck all about it. People do not pay attention. Politics are not interesting. Have you seen how thick the average person is? Ask them basic questions, like really simplistic ones. What's the fucking capital of Norway? Or fucking who's the Prime Minister? Who's the First Minister of Scotland? Half of them won't get it. Or Wales. Basic stuff. Who's the Vice President of the United States? Fuck knows. Who cares? Watch telly. Who's the Speaker of the House? Who cares? Got nothing to do with me. Normal people don't pay attention. So things have to get really, really bad. And I'm sick of making the point. That's why despite the rhetoric, when people say prevention is always better than a cure, we never, ever, ever, ever go with prevention. Just look at history. We just don't. Human beings do not opt for prevention. We always go with a cure. Ukraine is proving it now. We could have gone with prevention. If we'd have met them halfway in any of the 20 times in the last 10 years when military experts and intelligence chiefs said, yeah, we maybe shouldn't be antagonizing the Ruskies constantly. We maybe shouldn't be crossing these red lines that we promised we definitely wouldn't cross time and time and time and time and time and time again. Maybe we shouldn't do that. We fucking ignored them. So we are where we are. War. Unending war, by the looks of things. We don't do prevention. We don't. If you think we do, you don't fucking read. Our politicians are self-serving degenerates, right? They don't care about the long term. Again, you know I love old adages because I've told you this loads of times. The reason I like them is because they're true. If I made an adage up and it was total bollocks, it wouldn't take off. The fact that everybody says things like a rolling stone gathers no moss or a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush is because they're fucking true. If they weren't true, they would disappear into the ether, right? And if you ever know a good old adage that everybody says, it's fucking true. It's true. And that is just another one regarding where we are at. Politicians do not play the old adage, a society grows great when men plant trees whose shade they know they will never sit in. That's true. And in the last 30 or 40 years, we have been so sorely led that adage doesn't ring true anymore. None of them do. All they care about is short-term power. So, I mean, think about this. The self-evidence that this is true is the state of our national finances, right? Because it wouldn't bother me because I'm not a moron, but I'm also not a normie. If a prime minister said, right, enough is enough. We're spending too much money. We cannot afford it. If you ran your house like this, you'd be totally fucking bankrupt. And a nation in debt is a nation without fucking foundations, without influence, without any real power. So when I get in, if let's say Boris gave this speech a couple of years ago, I have a plan for slashing the national debt. I'm going to put a penny on income tax for everyone across the board, right? I'm going to take 10% of our civil service, just take a hatchet to it. I'm going to get every single high-ranking official in my fucking office, and I'm going to tell them all, 1 in 10 of your employees, head of every department, needs to fucking go. So I would suggest the best way to do this is to check all your personnel records, find who's performing the most poorly, and lay them off, right? So I'd slash 10% of our public expenditure overnight. I'd put a penny on income tax, university, the same for everyone. And I would commit to raising taxes and slashing costs until we've paid that fucking debt off. And I would commit political suicide, because there's probably about 1 in 10 people, ironically, the same amount of people who had fucking fire from the civil service. There's probably only about 1 in 10 people who would vote for you, because they'd be like, no, I don't want to pay more tax. I don't want to cut. I don't want things to get worse. So you wouldn't win. You'd get totally fucked. I'd lose Bootneck for PM. I'd lose, but I'd get about fucking 12 votes, and I think they're all sitting in here listening to me. So we live for short-term gain. So where's the motivation to think of the future, to plant the trees for other men to sit under? Where's the motivation to do that? It's not fucking happening. So we're in a death spiral. We're circling the drain, and we can't fix it. We can't fix it. The Prime Minister doesn't have any power, because that long march through the institutions got completed, and all of the people who might have the will to do something about it would be ousted by the powers that be. Liz Truss said she was going to take a hatchet to the civil service in no uncertain terms. She didn't directly say it as simplistically as I would, but she did say, yeah, we're going to cut. If you look at what her plan was, it was cut the civil service. So she lasted a fucking month. Well, you can't do it. So this is what I'm telling you. We've already lost. Would you pay? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I've told you what I'd do. It's not even extreme. I'd simply enforce the existing law. Everyone, this has been my refutation to those that follow the far right, because I'm not far right, and I don't support the far right, because I grew up with kids from India and other places that fit in and did fine, because there wasn't too many of them. So now, my old Indian mate from primary school, if you click on his profile on Facebook, it's all Middlesbrough Football Club shit, because he was like the only Indian kid in the class. So he fit in, and he anglicised, and it's fine. And he's a productive member of society. I'm sure he fucking works his ass off and pays his taxes. So the point I keep making of them when they say, no, we need to do this and we need to do that, you don't need to do anything drastic. You literally need to just enforce the fucking law. Whatever. Yeah, some of them will be. The immigrants who came here illegally in the 80s, some of them are based as fuck now, because they know they're getting the piss took out of them. I'm sure my Indian mate who's been working for the last 25 years is pretty pissed off that he's now getting the piss took out of him. So what I'm saying is, you don't need to do anything extreme. You just have to enforce the law. There's going to be millions of illegal immigrants in the UK. I don't even know where if you could put a number on it, but it's going to be at least 2 or 3 million. At least. You wander around Borough and you're fucking just deluged with people. You can tell when they're illegal as well, almost. I know that sounds a bit fascist, but 9 times out of 10, I fancy my chances. Because when they came here legally and they're going to like the local primary school and they're hanging around with the local kids, they just conduct themselves differently. They start dressing and talking like the locals. When it's a proper shifty looking bloke who just stares daggers at you and skulks like fucking Gollum, you just know. You could just tell. The skulk. They do. They do. They fucking skulk, right? And if you simply aggressively deported everybody who in the UK who was there illegally, it would instantly free up hundreds of millions and pounds of resources every year. It'd instantly free up housing and schools and doctors and dentists, even roads, for fuck's sake, or the bin men not having to do as much work. Millions of people getting fucking deported over a short couple of years would just massively ease the pressure on everything. NHS, schools, doctors, rail, roads, the bin men. Even the fucking bin men wouldn't be hanging out their arse quite as much because there wouldn't be shit everywhere. You don't need to do anything. You basically need to simply go back to the policies of 1987, right? That I can remember when I was in primary school. Everything worked. We had a trickle of immigration. We had every now and then a new kid would turn up in my school. I remember a little Japanese girl turned up as well, like the only one in my school. She was called Yayoi or something. And I remember feeling sorry for her because I guess the mum and dad had moved here for work and she couldn't speak a word of the Queen's. Maybe they moved her to Middlesbrough because nobody in fucking Middlesbrough could speak a word of the Queen's either. It's just all gibberish. But I remember there was like literally like there was her and there was an Indian and there was one Pakistani in my whole primary school. And then when I went up to secondary school, they disappeared. So they might have went to posh schools, you know what they're like, immigrants. A lot of them back in them days were all hard workers and they had a lot of money. Obviously, I went to the local comprehensive. And then in me secondary school, there was literally maybe 2 or 3 Asian or black in the whole school year. And then I think last 2 year, a lad called Femi, or Pangi, he was called, from like Nigeria or somewhere. He came with his brother, so there was 2 of them. But literally, you'd end up with like 4 or 5 kids in your school. And they'd all assimilate and it'd be fine. You know, when you make friends with school kids, you go around their house for tea and stuff. I remember going around my Indian mate's house for tea and stuff and having a sleepover on a Saturday, like whatever. Just play video games and watch movies and shit. And they integrate. But once you start getting massive numbers, there is no integration, like at all. And it stops dead. And all the numbers suggest it. You've got the Turks in Germany. Some of them are 3rd generation and they can't speak German. It's to someone raised in the 80s, it's inconceivable. It's inconceivable to me that any of those kids who I went to school with don't speak fluent English now or don't support the Middlesbrough and don't dress and walk and talk like me or the locals in the town. Because it works when it's a trickle. And as soon as you get past critical mass, where you've got more than 1 or 2 families in the same estate from the exact same place, all of them just fucking... Because it's human nature to be a bit lazy, isn't it? It's human nature to sit under a tree and eat fucking Ben and Jerry's. We don't like going to the gym. We like eating pies. We always take the path of least resistance. We're an evolved fucking primate with a poorly developed brain, right? We always take the path of least resistance. So if you ditch 10 Turkish families in one street, they're not going to learn fucking German, are they? When I went to Japan, I was only there a couple of months, and by the end of it, I was quite good at Japanese. I could speak a lot of it because it's a necessity. It makes you learn it. That everybody knows total immersion is the easiest way to do it. But when you fucking move thousands and thousands and thousands of them in, you are asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble. Places like Molenbeek in Belgium, it was always going to happen. It was inevitable. I've quoted Kim Jong from, what was that, Team America? It is inevitable. Yeah, it's inevitable. Of course, I don't even need to watch it. I don't even need to watch it paranormal because I read a lot. And I've read Easy Meat and I've read Douglas Murray, The Strange Death of Europe. I've read Sam Harris talking about the numbers. Sam Harris, who got labelled a fascist Nazi for talking about the actual numbers with the regulars at Alan's snack bar. It's fucking terrifying. It's terrifying. And I've made that point loads of times. Think about it. How the fuck is some cretin who works for the Home Office, some wet fucking socialist, how do they honestly think that the prevent strategy is going to work? I've sat and watched and read some of the... Sam Harris has gone mad. He has, yeah, he has. I stopped following him about 3 or 4 years ago. I was a big fan of his for about 15 years. It just shows how you evolve, isn't it? Or devolve in his case. Because I was a big fan of his for about 15 years. I bought like 3 of his books, followed his podcast, but he got Trump derangement syndrome and he went mad. So I was like, yeah, shame. He used to be an intellectual. Now he's a fucking idiot. Christopher Hitchens is a good one. If Christopher Hitchens, because he was a clever cunt, an actual clever cunt, not like a pseudo-academic like Sam Harris. If Christopher Hitchens was still alive, he'd be on my team. I'm telling you, because he was ripping Alan's snack bar and the lads who go to the Golden Bell End churches. He was ripping them up for arsehole paper 15 fucking years ago. He was torturing them. He always changed his position when the evidence presented itself. He went from being a left-winger to a right-winger to a disaffected centrist, whatever. He'd be on our team, definitely. Sam Harris lost the fucking plot. But what I'm getting at is you can't expect these prevent programs, if you know anything about anything, you can't expect them to work. Because you literally, in the case of, again, I only use the L word, but I'm using it correctly. In that situation, you are comparing a politician who nobody fucking likes or trusts to literally God, because they believe that their holy Bronze Age book of fucking desert fables was dictated by God, right? So when fucking Jackie Smith or Priti Patel says, no, you should definitely do gay marriages in the Bell End Church. You should definitely do it. Who the fuck are they going to listen to? Are they going to listen to Jackie Smith or fucking Priti Patel? Or are they going to listen to God, for fuck's sake? I'm not even religious. I'm agnostic. But if God rocked up in my fucking living room, I'm just lying in the bath relaxing, and he fucking pops up in front of me. Now then, Matty, I'd become a believer pretty fucking quickly. And if God said to me, don't listen to Priti Patel, Matty, she's a fucking dickhead, I'd go, yeah, right, oh God, you'd fucking know, son. You'd know, son. Can you do anything about me? Extra 3 inches, God? Yeah. Bing. Happy fucking days. So that's what you do. The idea that the prevent strategy was ever going to work when you're fucking comparing the fucking current Home Secretary, whichever twat it happens to be at the time, or fucking God. Who they're going to fucking listen to? Who they're going to listen to? Answers on a bastard postcard. I fucking don't even... It makes me laugh that no one will talk like this. I need length, John. It's already fat. It's already fat enough. It's like a fucking Coke can. Like a Coke can. I'm kidding. It's not. It's not. It's like a rolled up ear defender. Ready for... So that's what makes me laugh about it. You have to have these conversations in front of 500 fucking dickheads on the internet, fellow dickheads. Who, I'm not saying that in that I think you're all a bunch of cunts. I'm saying that as in we are just fucking dickheads because we've got no power. We're just dickheads in the street. And you can only have this conversation between 500 dickheads who have no power and no influence and no real voice. We're just talking to ourselves. And it staggers me. It staggers me that not a single person has ever stood up in Parliament. Because how simple is that point? Has just got up in Parliament, Jacob Rees-Mogg just went, get shot of the prevent strategy. And they've gone, okay, now we can't do it. This is our last line of defence against the Islamic extremists. No. Who are they going to listen to? The fucking Angel Gabriel or whichever twat happens to be sitting in the Home Office this fucking week? Are you tapped? Are you tapped? You have to have a head full of horse shit to think that's going to work. So we're just pissing money into the fucking wind there. Take your budget for the Prevent programme, fold it up and fuck it, because it's as much use as a nun's minge. Simple. And I just can't believe that I'm the only person saying it. That type of, perhaps with less swearing, that should have been said the first week when they were talking about funding the Prevent strategy. Someone should have got up and went, yeah, but it's not going to fucking work though, is it? Are you cunts mental? It's not going to work. And then they'd say, oh yeah, well, what is going to work? And then I'd give you my plan. Smash the fucking bastards. That's what works. Aggression. It's no coincidence that all the countries, first world countries, with the death penalty, where you have technology and trained detectives and surveillance and an armed service, uniformed services and spooks and spies and fucking chain guns and bazookas, it's no coincidence that they have the lowest crime. My Prevent strategy is give 1,000 bootnecks MP5s and fucking underslung grenade launchers and do intelligence-led operations and fucking smash them everywhere you find them. Every mosque. Oh, if I do a pause, maybe Susan will forget what's coming. Let's have an interval. Can I put the music back on? Oh yeah, I've got one. Look. Right. Every Golden Bell End church that I found, right, with armament underneath it. It happened to the famous one in Finsbury Park. I remember that. Every single one of them that I found with munitions under it would get fucking bulldozed, right? Every single extremist that was marked by the intelligence services would get fucking slapped. All you'd need is a single piece of demonstrable evidence, like a mobile phone full of fucking messages about killing the unbelievers. And they would either, A, if they were born abroad, which massive numbers of them were, but they were naturalised in the United Kingdom, they would get the fucking UK passports set on fire and they would get fucking parachuted out above Karachi or wherever the fuck they were from. Anyone who was an extremist. But again, intelligence-led. Because there's plenty of people who were born in Pakistan or India that are sound. And I obviously would not support vilifying those people. But intelligence-led operations, anybody who was fucking guilty of hate, I wouldn't be there going, oh, we can make them love us if we just throw money at them. No, get the fuck. They'd be gone. Intelligence-led kinetic operations against the fucking top of the pyramid. Anyone in those top two fucking tiers, the Abu Hamzas, the fucking, what's that horrible, slimy little twat called? The one who got jailed for about 8 years. Remember his name? It'll come to me. There was loads of pictures of him drinking cans and that when he was in university. He was like a poor man's Abu Hamza, because at least Abu Hamza had a hook and looked the part. This guy just looked like a fucking Anjem Chowdhury. That's it. Don't need you lot to tell me. Anjem. Anyone like Abu or Anjem would get fucking both barrels, because that's intelligence-led. They tell you what they believe. It's not conjecture on the part of the state. They'd get fucking both barrels. The SAS would pay them a fucking nighttime visit, and they'd end up in a fucking hole somewhere. And then you deport everybody who's in the UK legally, at which point, happy days, you've got shot of about 2 million. And then the ones that are left, who don't hate the UK and feel privileged and happy and proud to be here, because let's be honest again, all good immigrants do. In the pub last week, I met an Indian lass, a British Indian, and as soon as she heard my accent, she came straight over. And she was like me fucking best mate, like trying to be my best pal, because it was like, oh, look, a fellow English person in the United States. And they are proud as fuck. Like, they'll never say this to you. Well, some will, the sound ones. They're proud as fuck to be from the UK. They'll love it. Anybody who's born in the UK who comes from native background, they do not identify with it. They never want to, if they're obviously not an extremist, because they know the UK is a better country. If you ask a woman like that who speaks with a very English accent where she's from, she'll say Britain. She won't say India. She says, no, I'm English. I'm definitely English, because they know which side the fucking bread's buttered. They know which side the bread's buttered, and they don't want to have anything to do with the other fucking place. So that's what you do. You intelligence-led operations, smash the people that deserve it, and make it clear to the general public that they are intelligence-led operations and you're not picking on anybody or vilifying anybody. There's always plenty of evidence before you act on it, and them motherfuckers get the good news. You give them the fucking good news. Easy. You could do it, and you could embark on a fucking hearts and minds campaign with everybody else and say, if you're a fucking tax-paying, fair-minded citizen, no matter where you came from, but we gave you British citizenship, we respect and admire your diligence and your work, and you pay your taxes, and we love that, and you're welcome to be here. But if you come here and you take the piss out of us, and you don't pay your taxes, and you preach hate and bloody fucking murder, you best fucking grab your ankles, son, because the fucking bootneck's coming in dry. How's about that? He's going to pay you a visit at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's going to drive it straight through your back of your fucking jeans. Bosh! I don't even need to get it out. My rage boner is so colossal and titanic. I will smash it straight through the back of your denims. You could be wearing fucking welding overalls, and I'll still drive it through the back of them. That's what you do. Happy fucking days, right? Hopefully nothing there was too controversial, because I'm talking about intelligence-led operations, always. But you don't do what we have been doing, because think about it, you know what I'm telling you is logical and right. Because every single, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's every single one, every single British citizen, typically of foreign parentage or recent citizen, every single one of them that was involved in the attacking of Lee Rigby, in the Manchester bombing, in London Bridge 7/7, all the big ones on British soil, every single one of them was already known to the government. This is key to what I'm saying. So I'm proving the logic behind what I'm telling you. I'm not inventing some fantastical situation where we somehow know everything about everybody. Every single one of them was already known to the government. All of them, they were like, oh yeah, we followed him for 2 years and then we had to reallocate resources. All of them, we knew them all, definitely with regards to Manchester and Lee Rigby. Because I remember reading lengthy stories about it. The Manchester bombing, Salman Abatwat was well known. They always are. And we always do fuck all about it until it's too late, which leads me back to the point I was making half an hour ago before I started this rant about prevention and cure. We don't do fucking prevention, do we? We can call it prevent, and we can gob off about, oh yeah, prevention's always better than it. We don't fucking do it. Lee Rigby got his nut lopped off because we don't do it. Salman Abedi spread a bunch of women and kids up against the side of the fucking Manchester arena because we don't do it. It doesn't work. We don't like prevention. We like cures. So if you want to try the prevention strategy, maybe do what I'm telling you. We can do it. We just have to have the will to do it. Fucking easy. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. I didn't really talk too much about Miss Forbes. All I was saying there was she didn't even say anything controversial, and apparently the fucking sky has fallen. If that's not proof of the evidence of what I'm talking about, that we're living in a fucking marshmallow That's what Peter Hitchens calls it, a marshmallow dictatorship. Right? It's like it comes across all soft and fluffy, but there's no way of arguing. They brook no argument. You can't disagree. It's laughable. It's ludicrous. Anyway, that'll do you for now. I can't go on Rumble because I've fucked it all up. I'll try again on. I've got a day off. I'm working tomorrow, Thursday, Friday night. Yeah, I'm working Friday night, so I'll be in. Yeah, all right. I'll do a stream on Friday, 7 p.m. Friday. Right, that'll do you. You can have that for now, you twats. Thanks for tuning in as usual. I miss Kate today. I wonder where she's at. Everyone, cheers. Appreciate it for watching as usual. I will try and get another stream up on Rumble. I was deluged with letters. Well, about 3. Not to get rid of my YouTube streams because they don't like going on Rumble. Don't people watching it on TVs and phones and shit. So yeah, I'm not going to just instantly fuck YouTube off. But I'm doing my part to try and push more traffic Rumble's way because ultimately I do hate this platform. I'm stuck in an abusive relationship with it. And Susan might be fucking off, but it's going to be some little tin pot, one testicle, toothbrush, moustache fucking dictator who's going to take over anyway. So there's no point in getting a chubby on because you think Susan's left. The bloke who replaces him might be even more of a twat. Right, anyway. And as I said last time, I'd rather go down on an ugly woman than a fucking hairy brown man. Which is, I think that's who's replacing her. So we'll see. Right. Thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Toodle fucking pip.